Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, my name is Yunus Khan, lecturer in biology, and I am going to start the course of second year biology to teach it to you. Shortly, wasting no time, taking a start from the first chapter of the second year class, that is the chapter number 14, respiration. So, taking a start, chapter number first is basically the chapter number 14, because 13 chapters have been studied by you in first year class. Now next is the chapter number 14, respiration. So first of all, we have to introduce the word respiration, its definition, a little bit about its explanation. Then later on we will go through different topics which are given here in the chapter. Respiration will be defined in two ways. There are two main kinds of respiration basically. So both of the kinds will be defined separately, because they cannot be collectively defined. So respiration is usually in animals, if we talk about. So respiration is of two kinds. One is called as external respiration. So and the other one, that is internal respiration. So these are the two main kinds of the respiration, and they have to be defined separately. External respiration, it is a physical process which is also called as gaseous exchange. Or this may also be called in animals as breathing. In case of animals, it is also called as breathing. So external respiration, gaseous exchange or breathing will be defined over here, which is a little bit must be clear to you, because this have been discussed a little bit in the 9th class as well, in the 10th class, sorry. So therefore I think there must be some idea about the definition and introduction of the gaseous exchange and breathing in your mind. But starting from the definition of the breathing of our gaseous exchange, we will say that the physical phenomena or the physical process through which living organisms plants as well as animals exchange two kinds of gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. So it is a physical process in which what happens, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place. During breathing, we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. So this inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide is usually called as breathing, may also be called as gaseous exchange or external respiration. It is called as external respiration because it takes place outside the cells. Then what happens, whenever this oxygen is taken in, this oxygen is transferred by the blood to different tissues and cells of the body. When the oxygen reaches the cells, enters the cells, over there a special kind of another kind of respiration occurs over there, which is called as internal respiration, because that occurs inside the cell. And as it is occurred into the cell, this is also called as cellular respiration. So firstly, we discussed the external respiration, gaseous exchange, breathing, the physical process, which is the physical process occurring outside the cells, inhalation and exhalation of the animals are breathing, taking enough oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide, exchange of gases, that is external respiration. Internal respiration or cellular respiration, this is that kind of respiration which occurs at cellular level, and it may be defined as the complicated process during which complex food is broken down. Complex food is broken down with the release of energy. So it is that kind of respiration during which the food molecules are broken down, and as a result of that energy is released. For example, if we talk about the aerobic respiration, further the cellular respiration is of two kinds. Aerobic respiration, that kind of respiration in which oxygen is utilized, and anaerobic respiration, that a kind of respiration in which oxygen is not needed, whether it is available or not, but oxygen is not utilized over here. So that is called as anaerobic respiration. So if you talk about the aerobic respiration, what happens here, the glucose, which is food, glucose molecule C6H12O6 is oxidized in the presence of different kind of enzymes, and it is broken down, that is a complex molecule which is broken down to simpler one, that is carbon dioxide, water, along with which lot of energy is released. This energy is then stored in the form of ATP. This energy is then stored in the form of ATP. So here what happened, food, this is a complicated process during which complex food, this glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide and water with the release of energy. Here what happened, energy is released. So it is an energy releasing process during which the food molecules are broken down. So this kind of respiration occurs at cellular level. Therefore, it is called as cellular respiration, and it is usually occurred inside the cell. So therefore, internal respiration. If you talk about the gaseous exchange or external respiration, so it is a physical phenomena which occurs outside the cell. Therefore, it is called as external respiration. It is called as external respiration. So in this chapter, we will talk about the external respiration, but a little bit taking an example, and then talk about the respiration. An example have to be taken. For example, if you talk about the human being, for example, this is a human body. So in human body, all the activities, all the functions are made possible only in the presence of energy. They are made possible only in the presence of energy, and energy is released by the cellular level kind of respiration, cellular respiration. For that we need oxygen. Oxygen is taken in, it reacts with the glucose. As a result, carbon dioxide and water, along with which energy is released, and this is that energy which is used in different kind of activities. So any kind of function, any kind of activity which is being performed inside the body of living organisms, that need energy. Without energy, we cannot do any kind of work. Any kind of function can never be performed if there is no availability of energy. So energy must be there, then after that we can start any kind of activities. So activities of the human body, activities of a plant body, activities of any organismic body that need energy, and energy is produced by this process. Okay, now during this process oxygen is needed, because we are aerobes, we perform aerobic respiration. Somehow in our muscles etc. anaerobic lactic acid kind of fermentation also takes place, which is a kind of anaerobic respiration, but mostly we are adopted for the aerobic respiration. Our lungs receive oxygen from the external environment and that is utilized in the aerobic respiration. Over here oxygen is taken in, oxygen comes into the body. Along the process of aerobic respiration, carbon dioxide is produced and this carbon dioxide must be removed out. So what happens? Oxygen comes in and carbon dioxide goes out. There is an exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and it is very important because if this exchange of gases does not take place, there will be no availability of the oxygen to the food molecule. Then as a result energy will not be found, and lastly if energy is not available, no activity will be performed and survival of any kind of organism will not be possible. So here oxygen comes in, carbon dioxide goes out. This exchange of gases is very important for the survival of any kind of organism. Okay, so this exchange of gases is called as external respiration, and the kind of respiration which have been discussed over here, that takes place inside the cell. So this kind of respiration is called as internal respiration. So this exchange of gases is external respiration, and this kind of respiration which is taking place in the mitochondria of the cell is called internal respiration or cellular respiration. In this chapter, remember, in this very chapter we will talk about we will only be confined, we will only be limited to the external respiration or the gaseous exchange, or you can say breathing. Later on inshallah in this chapter we will only be confined to the breathing system, because we will talk about the respiration in human beings, that is gaseous exchange in human beings. So in this chapter we must be confined to this. We will never talk about the internal respiration. So this kind of respiration will be discussed here in this chapter, but one thing which is very important for the respiration, or usually if we talk about the gaseous exchange, external respiration, that is a surface area, and a respiratory surface is very important, because that surface is very importantly used for the taking enough oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide. So a surface must be there, because of which the exchange of gases is made possible. So first of all we have to talk about the respiratory surface, then later on we will talk about the respiration in human beings. So our next topic in this regard is the respiratory surface. Okay, so whenever we talk about the respiration or gaseous exchange, another kind of process is also important to be discussed over here, and that is the diffusion. Diffusion is a very important process which is performed, and because of which the gaseous exchange is made possible. So let us talking about the definition of diffusion. Diffusion may be defined as I think you must be clear about the diffusion, because you must have a little bit knowledge which have to be obtained by you in the previous classes about the diffusion. So diffusion usually, let us define it. It may be defined as the movement of molecules from a region of high concentration to a region of lower concentration is called as diffusion. So diffusion is a passive transport that is very important in the exchange of gases, because outside the body there is a high concentration of oxygen, and from that high concentration oxygen comes into the body towards the lower concentration. Inside our body after respiration there is a high concentration of carbon dioxide that must leave the body, and that concentration from that high concentration that carbon dioxide must move from that high concentration towards the low concentration means external environment. So diffusion process is very important in this regard. This diffusion takes place through a respiratory surface, and that is our next topic, the respiratory surface. So as far as the word respiratory surface is concerned, we have to talk about the definition. First of all, you must know about the respiratory surface, then after that its properties have to be discussed, because of those properties this respiratory surface is ready to take in oxygen and to give out carbon dioxide. Okay, so it may be defined as the kind of surface or a surface which is used for the respiration, or you can say for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide with external environment. So it is that kind of surface because of which body exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen with the external environment, means there is taking enough oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide. So through the surface through which this exchange takes place is called as respiratory surface, and usually you can say this respiratory surface is available in our lungs, the alveoli. The surfaces of alveoli, what happens over there? There is a strong network of capillaries. This is an alveoli. There is a strong network of capillaries. In the capillaries, blood is there. In blood, carbon dioxide comes here, and in alveoli, through inhalation of oxygen comes here. This oxygen diffuses out into the blood, and the carbon dioxide comes from the blood into the alveoli, and that is given out. So this surface, the surface of the alveoli, behave as a respiratory surface, because here what happens, oxygen goes into the blood and the carbon dioxide from the blood coming into the alveoli. Here exchange of these gases takes place. So that surface through which this exchange of gases takes place is called as, means you can say that simply that surface through which this external respiration takes place is called as respiratory surface. Now we will talk about those properties of the respiratory surfaces because of which this exchange is made possible. So the properties of respiratory surface, there are some properties of a respiratory surface. So we must be clear about those properties because of which this respiratory surface is able to exchange the gases. So out of these properties, one of the property is it must be the surface must be permeable. It must be semi-permeable or totally permeable. Mostly semi-permeable membrane is over there. So it must be a permeable membrane, a permeable layer, a permeable surface. If it is a permeable surface, then it is possible for the oxygen to comes in and carbon dioxide goes out. So it must be permeable, the first property of the surface. If it is permeable, then exchange of gases is possible. Otherwise, if it is impermeable, then no exchange of gases will take place. Secondly, the second property, which is also important, this surface must be thin. The surface must be thin. If the surface is thin, then easy transport or easy exchange of gases will take place. If the surface is thick a little bit, then what happens, there will be difficulty in the exchange of gases. So second property of the surface is the surface must be thin. Third property, the surface must be moist. The respiratory surface must be moist. Why? Because if it is moist, means on the surface, on the membrane, if there are some availability of water droplets, then it is possible for oxygen to be dissolved here or carbon dioxide to be dissolved here and exchange take place. So if the surface is moist, the exchange of gases is made possible and that become easy, because these gases dissolve in the moist water droplets, on the surface, and then they can easily be diffused inside or outside. So the surface must be moist. This is the third property. Another property of the respiratory surface: first one, it must be permeable; second one, it must be thin; and third one, it must be moist. Another important property, that is there must be a large surface area of the respiratory surface. So the respiratory surface must have a large surface area. If the surface or if the membrane have a large surface area, then a large amount of gas will comes in and that will goes out. Means the exchange of gases that will be increased in amount. So large amount of gases will be exchanged if large surface area is there, and if small surface area there, so exchange will take place, but there will be difficulty in the availability of much of, as happens in the emphysema. What happens over there? Most of the blood tissues are destroyed, and because of the surface area is lowered, and therefore there is a decrease in the exchange of gases. So their surface area must be large. The surface must have large surface area. This is very important. And the last and very important, that is the availability of capillaries or blood supply. So you can say the surface or respiratory surface must be supplied with large blood capillary, large number of blood capillaries, The surface must be supplied with large number or large amount of blood capillaries. There must be a high blood supply. If there is a high blood supply, then what would happen? Exchange of gases will takes place in high amount and high concentration. If small number of capillaries are there, then very little amount of exchange of gases will take place. So this is also a very important property of the surface area. So if we talk about the lungs or alveoli, inside the lungs we will talk about the different parts of the respiratory system in the next topic, inshallah. But taking an alveolus as an example, inside the lungs there are a number of alveoli. For example, this is an alveolus. From the outside, what happens? Oxygen comes in. During inhalation, oxygen comes in, and during exhalation, carbon dioxide goes out. So the carbon dioxide comes from the blood capillaries. This is a blood. This is an arteriole, for example. It is divided into a number of blood capillaries, and these blood capillaries pass. These are passed on above the surface of the alveolus. So if we label it a little bit, so this is an alveolus. This is an alveolus, and these are blood capillaries. These are blood capillaries. So larger the amount of blood capillaries, larger the amount of carbon dioxide will be available here, and if high concentration of carbon dioxide is available, high amount of carbon dioxide will leave the blood. Okay, so what happens here in the blood, carbon dioxide comes, this is the carbon dioxide which comes here, this carbon dioxide goes into the alveolus and after that goes out, and carbon dioxide oxygen comes into the blood and that is taken by the blood to be transported, to be conveyed to different parts, tissues, cells of the body. So what happens, there must be a rich supply of the blood capillaries or rich supply of blood to the respiratory surface. So at least 5 most important properties of the respiratory surface must be there. The first one is the surface must be permeable, second one, surface must be thin, third one, the surface must be moist, fourth one, the surface must have large surface area, and the last one, that is surface must be supplied with large number of blood capillaries. So if all these properties are there in a surface, it will be a very good respiratory surface. And if some of these are missing, then gaseous exchange will take place, but there will be difficulty in the gaseous exchange. So this is about the respiratory surface and the properties of respiratory surface. Next topic is about the respiratory system of the human being. So let us the topic to be discussed in the next topic, inshallah. For now, that is enough, and if you guys have any kind of question, you can send that question, you can ask it in comments. I will try my best to give the answers of all those questions for next video. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.